There's new research emerging about the Blue Zone communities that is rattling the longevity and aging discussion. For those of you not familiar with Blue Zones, there was a book written in 2008 about Blue Zones and what we can learn from them. Blue Zones are communities with a disproportionate number of centenarians or super centenarians. Centenarians live to be 100, super centenarians live beyond that. Since the release of the book, a lot of effort has gone into studying these communities and learning more about what they do. There were 5 such communities identified. One was in Costa Rica, one was Okinawa, Japan, there was one in Italy, one in Greece, and the Seventh-day Adventists of Loma Linda, California. And all of these areas had a disproportionate number of centenarians and supercentenarians. So a lot of research went into what were these people eating, what were their activity levels like, and they've been heavily studied for the last 10 years. Earlier this year, an Australian researcher came to an interesting conclusion based on some data he found. He noticed that other than Loma Linda, all 4 Blue Zone communities were remote communities with low education, low income, and so on. And that by itself wasn't alarming. What was interesting, though, is they also had rather poor record keeping. In fact, when you looked at these communities and you factored in when birth certificates started becoming mandatory, the number of people who were centenarians fell by roughly 80%. So it may be that instead of these being some of the most healthy communities, they were simply fraudulent communities. There was a case in France not long ago where a lady lived to 122 years old. In fact, she's the longest living human on record. But what's interesting about her is that she had a daughter who died in about 1930. And there's speculation that the daughter didn't really die. The mom died, but the daughter assumed her identity to avoid paying inheritance tax. So I'm interested to see what this does to the Blue Zone communities, or the research into the Blue Zone communities, now that instead of researching the healthiest people, they may just be researching some of the more fraudulent people. Some of them have been claiming government pensions and other things like that based solely on their claimed age. And once actual birth certificates were required, there just weren't very many centenarians anymore. That's all I've got. I've got a channel that I put together. It has to do with aging, health, longevity, and so on. Check out my channel. I talk about it. And that's it. Like, subscribe, share. Talk to you later.